Hey guys, like I always say, Namaskara everyone. Andariki Namaskaram Ellargu Swagatam and a very warm Vanakkam to Rank Plus J English channel. This is me, your chemistry educator, Novomita ma'am, Novita ma'am, or whatever you say. Everything is fine for me. Yes, guys. So today, in today's session, we are going to talk about the JE shift-wise difficulty. All the students I have been, I do have my Telegram channel where I do talk to you guys, and I have found that everybody is talking about it. Everyone is thinking that I have got this shift. Am I going to be in the easier shift or am I going to be in the difficult shift? I understand because last year in the 2024 shifts, we have seen that the January the first shift that was it was basically basically like way out of the box, like some outstanding thing that NTA had done, where 236 was the 236 marks was fetching you 99 percentile. So that was basically what, like fundamentally nobody thought about it that this will happen, because usually we notice that 200 plus is bringing you 99 percentile, right? Or when you are around 195 to 200, you are getting 98 percentile. But that was that one shift where we noticed that, whoa, what just happened? Nobody could understand, right? And then NTA came under the radar. They had to give a lot of explanation that no, this did not happen, that did not happen. Every shift there was only 1.4 lakh students, or they had all these normalizations that they came up with, which was okay. They said that they gave their own their what do you say, own clarifications that no, there was equal number of students sitting, but yet that happened that one of the paper was super easy, which is why that fear that, ma'am, am I going to be in that easiest shift? And today all the students have started to pray to God that, please God, give me a moderate to tough level exam paper so that I can clear the cutoff. Now all the students, I know that you have been preparing well, you have been studying for 2 years. There are so many students who I hang out with, who I talk to, and some of them are even they have taken a drop year and now they're preparing. So the whole fear of this, that you getting an easier paper, it is scary. I understand, because you are prepared very well, and even after that, if you cannot get that, if you cannot get ahead of the barrier and cross that cutoff, it is very difficult. It's disappointing, demotivating, that you have been through this whole journey and yet this is happening, isn't it? So that is why the whole idea of bringing you this session. So let's talk about what really is going to happen. Now, I don't know that if my prediction is going to come true or not. And this is essentially not a prediction as such. I am talking about, like, my data is from the newspaper articles that I have taken it out and then I'm talking about it. So don't blame me if things are not correct. Okay, don't blame me. It's the data that is there on the internet. So I have just basically collated all the data and whatever I understood, letting you all know that much. That's all that I'm letting you know. Now this is only an image, everybody. I would like to know from you. Please let me know in the comment section, everybody. When is your exam? Yes, are you in the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, or 28th or 29th? You need to let me know. So if there are 5 days, if there are 5 days, that means that there will be 10 shifts, and in the 10 shifts, as you all know, 13.8 lakh students who have registered for it. Let's say that the zero point 0.8 lakh students are not even sitting for it, or maybe 1 lakh students are not sitting for it, but even then 12 lakh students are going to appear for the exam at the least, right? It is always a trend that how the number of students who have registered for the exam and the number of students who are appearing for the exam, that's not matching. It doesn't match. Some students, they fill the form, but then they, at the end moment, panic attack or whatever it may be the reason, they don't want to do it, so they don't go for it, right? So this year also, I think, what, 12 lakh students will be appearing for it. So now out of 12 lakh, they have to divide each, in each shift there must be equal number of students. So 12 lakh, they will be dividing it in 10 shifts, right? This is what is going to happen. Now let's talk about the 2024 analysis, that what really happened in 2024 and what is the difficulty level. So everybody, like I told you, this is the data from newspaper articles, everyone. I haven't made it. This is what they are talking about, okay? So when we talk about the chemistry, yes, when we talk about chemistry difficulty level, out of three, we have allotted some marks here. Okay, out of 3 we have allotted some marks here, as you all can see, everybody. So for January 27th, which was the shift 1, the difficulty level is allotted 1.80. January 27th shift 2, difficulty level was 1.90. 29th was 1.85, 29th shift 2 was 1.90, 30th shift 1 was 1.67, shift 2 was 1.92, shift 1 was again 1st May, it was 1.69, shift 2 was 1.85, and then you had shift to 1, most difficult shift it is considered, where chemistry had 1.80. Now you have to understand that just don't look at the chemistry, you also have to look at the overall difficulty level. Okay, so let's take a look at the overall difficulty level, and when we take a look at the overall difficulty level, you notice that this is 1.79 right here. That means that this is January 27th shift 2. This is considered to be the second most difficulty level. Why? Because maths was very, very difficult here. Maths is getting a 2 score out of 3 on the difficulty level scale. Okay. All right. Similar to this, if you look at this 1.72, yes, 1.72 is the third most difficulty shift, and that was January 30th. Apart from that, if you come to February 1st shift, then you notice that this was the most difficult shift here, which is getting a score of 1.82. Here again, maths was a very, very difficult. That is why this is happening. Now, this is not according to the students. It's not according to the students. Yes, this is just the analysis of different coaching institutes that they have done, and then the newspaper article had combined it, and then they came up with this logic. Okay, so this is the logic. This is the logic according to the paper analysis. This is not what students have been saying, right? Now, according to the students, if you notice, then we all know that students kept saying that 31st January shift was also very, very difficult, isn't it? Many students, they came up and they said that January 31st had the most difficult shift, right? And in fact, to be very honest, January 27th, this shift was very, very easy. A lot of students came up and told this also, wherein the cutoff went to 236, right? So all of that happened. But so talking about it again, we notice that if you belong to the previous shifts, that means if your exam is on, let's say 22nd or 23rd, then ideally the scenario for you will be, according to the past year analysis, I think your scenario will be that you will find a easy to moderate shift. Yes, where maths is not going to be too difficult, chemistry as usual is will be scoring, it will be easy, the paper level pretty much remains same. I have told you plenty number of times what are the chapters that you should focus on, what is it that you have to do from which chapter, all of these have been told to you, so just focus on that. I think you will be able to do it. Physics again falls from that moderate to difficult level. It is not that tough, it is not very, very easy as well, but majority of the time you will find that there have been a lot of analysis on the internet, and you will find that for physics, many teachers, many YouTubers, they came up and they told you that there were direct questions from NCERT as well in the last year question paper. So try and focus on that as well. Now, moving ahead, once again, everybody, we noticed that January 24th shift 1 had a difficulty level of 1.43. You see, so this was basically that exam. This was that exam. Now, we are talking about 2023, right? This is that exam where it was very easy. It was, right? 24th shift had 1.61 here. 25th had the toughest shift, which was 1.8. This is talking about January 2023. Okay, again, majority of the look at the this thing. Okay, look at the score, everybody. So 1.8 is the toughest shift, 1.67 is the third toughest shift, and 1.73 is the second toughest shift, right? So this is what happened in 2023 also. So then again, when you come back to this year's examination, okay, when you come back to this year's examination, so I think we are always saying that the second or the third shift, right? That means that everyone, let me come back here. The prediction should be in such a way that this is going to be 22nd, the first shift, okay, 22nd, first shift is definitely going to be easy. That's the prediction. The second shift is going to be slightly difficult. Yes, the second shift, they will try to make it easy to moderate, or it can be tougher as well. The 23rd, okay, the 23rd, those belong to 23rd, you might get a moderate to difficult shift here. Okay, you might get a moderate to difficult shift, and this can be both the morning and the evening shift, right? And from 24th to 28th, again, if you see these 3 days, I believe and I think that these three shifts, they will again have what? They will all again have moderate level shifts. Okay, all of them are going to be moderate level shifts. So if you are praying that, ma'am, I belong to 23rd, so I think 23rd has a tendency to give you slightly difficult shift, right? We have seen that in 2024 it was a second most difficult shift, whereas in 2023 we see that the second or the third shift is always the toughest shift here, right? So there is a gap of, let's say there is a gap of, two shift, and the third shift becomes toughest again. Okay, there is a difference of 2 to 3 shift, and again the third or the fourth shift, it becomes difficult. So this is what you have seen. Once again, you can see here also, see two shift here, and then there is a gap of 3 shift, and then you are getting it. So two shifts, there is a tougher exam, then again 2 shifts gap, then again you are getting 3 shift gap, and then you are getting the tougher exam. So basically, once again, coming back to here, what is it? The first shift is going to be easy, probably. The second shift is going to be easy to moderate. The first day, it's not probably going to be too difficult, right? The second day onwards, you have a chance of getting moderate to difficult, and after that, most of the examination is going to be moderate level. Now, that is only the prediction. Let's also talk about what is NTA doing and what is the cutoff trend. So if you look at the cutoff trend, you have noticed that if the paper is easy, then you notice 195 to 205 is the 205 is the marks where you are getting 99 percentile or 98 percentile. Now, if it is easy, so my suggestion is that always aim for 220 plus, always aim for 220 plus, because 220 plus is going to get you in the safe zone. Even if the paper is easy, you are still getting 220 plus, so that means 99 percentile is guaranteed. If it is medium, then also you are getting 220 plus, so that is even great for you, right? Now, if you are aiming for 220 plus, let's say the paper is difficult, then also, so little, minuses and pluses here and there, you will end up probably getting around 180 to 190 in a difficult shift, right? That means that yet again you will be in the 99 percentile. So try and understand this, everybody. Your safe score is always going to be 220 plus. If it is easy, you will still end up getting 99 percentile, and moderate to difficult level, even if you keep subtracting some questions that you are not able to attempt, let's say that you have a scope, you have a room, you have a margin of 12 to 13 questions that you don't even have to attempt, right? 12 to 13 questions you don't even have to attempt. So even after that, you may end up getting 200 marks, and that in a difficult or a moderate level question paper will be great for you to achieve 20 will be great for you to achieve 99 percentile. So always keep your ambition here. This is your shooting star. Okay, this is your north star metric, basically. If 220 plus is your ambition, then you might end up at 200 also, and that is okay, right? So people say that under promise and over perform, so basically try and do that only here. And there are chances that you are over promising yourself for a difficult paper for 220 plus, but even if you underperform at 190 to 200, you will be getting a 99 percentile. So understand this and work for 220 plus. Last few days are left. Keep appearing for mock test, but not mindlessly. Make sure that after mock test, you also go for error analysis. Error analysis is very, very important, which I can't tell you, I can't emphasize more on this fact that error analysis is so very important that you will actually thank the error analysis book after your exam is over if you get good marks. Trust me on this. Now, let's come back to what NTA has been saying, that what they are doing to make sure that everything is fair, right? Everything is fair in this war, at least. Percentile calculation, they're saying that the percentile calculation system that they have, it's not a percentage system anymore, it's a percentile system. It reflects a student's performance relative to others. That means in comparison to others, you are telling that how much the student is doing great, right? And in this specific shift, and then combine this course using normalization. So what do they mean by normalization? Normalization is only done for fair distribution. When they normalize the score, NTA ensures that all the students, irrespective of the shift they appeared in, are evaluated equally. This means that they aim to provide an equitable chance for students of varying calibers across all shifts. So whatever may be the shift, they apply normalization. So they multiply it with some number and then they find out that what is the exact score that you should be getting. When they do that, they try and make sure that all the students are getting a fair chance in it. Okay, so this is what they are claiming that they are doing, and probably they are doing it also because see, they can't play with they can't play with 13-14 lakh students who are basically going to be the future of the nation. So they can't play with them, and maybe they are doing it, probably most probably they are doing it, right? So that is what NTA is doing. Now you have to again understand one more thing. I am going to end up the session. Just give me 2 minutes. But before I go, one more thing that is very important for you is class-wise number of questions. Understand this. See, from class 12 has been marked as red and class 11th has been marked as blue. So every year there is a tendency that from class 12 you get major number of questions. Yes, always look at this. Even if it is mathematics, even if it is physics, or if it is chemistry, you will always see that class 12 is given slightly more weightage. That is 55 to 60% of the weightage is given to class 12. So focus more on class 12. The class 12 weightage, such as your chapters like coordination compounds and DNF block, right? Then your chapters like solutions will always get you that colligative properties questions, right? Then what are the other chapters that you have from class 12? In organic chemistry you have haloalkanes and haloarenes. Very easy questions from SN1, SN2, E1, E2 questions from this chapter. So study these, focus on this, because if you attempt those, then there are more chances of you getting the percentage. Again, not saying that you should skip on 11th, because 11th has a lot of chapters which are given a lot of high weightage. There are 4 chapters right on the tip of your tongue which are also very easy, right? From 11th class you can do for chemistry, you must do general organic chemistry, you must do hydrocarbons. They fetch you the major number of questions in each question paper. In each shift you will find 2 questions from GOC, 1 question from hydrocarbon. And let's talk about inorganic here. Periodic table will have 1 question, chemical bonding will have 2 questions, right? And apart from that, if you take a look at your redox reaction is a very easy question. But electrochemistry once again is from 12th, which is very closely related to redox. If you know redox, you will be able to solve electrochemistry. Not only that, electrochemistry also has very predictable question. You will be getting questions from Nernst equation, Faraday's law, right? Or maybe that Colrash's law. So these are the type of questions that you can expect from the chapters. So make sure that you do them. I have been telling you this enough number of times, and I know that you will be coming back and you will tell me that, wow, ma'am, you predicted it. And I'm just waiting for that day. But also, my hope and my heart goes to you, and I want you guys to just act on it. Not come back and tell me later that, ma'am, you told us we did not study. Study, work on it. I'm telling you this, okay? Next, everybody, is that question wise difficulty. See, once again telling you that chemistry is your secret weapon, not even secret. Everybody knows that chemistry is your weapon. Make it your weapon, bacha log. What majority of the students don't do is some of the students who are really, really good in chemistry, right? They are always going for organic chemistry, and they think that inorganic is like, who is going to study it? But you, my dear student, don't do this. That's basically a sort of an ego that you may have, that, oh, I know chemistry, so I'm only going to work on organic. Don't do that. Inorganic chemistry is equally important, and you have to understand that 33% of your paper is attributed to inorganic chemistry. And I keep telling my students that it is easy, it is scoring, it is fact based, you do it, and it is less time consuming. So why are you letting go of the easy marks? I don't understand that. So please focus on your inorganic, because it can be your weapon. Trust me, because of this, you may end up getting a better percentile. See, physics and mathematics will always get some difficult amount, but chemistry usually don't have any difficult questions. So please focus on it, everybody. Make it your weapon, make it your Brahmastra, and go all guns blazing. I think you will be able to do it. Okay. With this note, I don't want to take more time from you. Thank you so much. I hope you have understood that what is going to be what is going to be your paper level. But again, don't worry about it. Those who are on 22nd and 23rd, you basically have 10 days or so. And those who are on 28th and 29th, your examination, you still have around 15 to 16 days. But that doesn't mean that you are going to procrastinate and think that tomorrow I will study. Don't. That ship has sailed. All you need to do is now be a pro at mock test and be a pro at your preparation, not be a pro at procrastination. So that's all from today. That's all from me for today. All the very best. Lots of love to you. I'll see you later, and tara bye bye guys.